From the star once being considered for the role of Iron Man, to him being asked in an interview if he'd ever reconsider the role, here's why Tom Cruise might be in talks at Marvel. Now, before y'all get too excited, nothing's been confirmed yet. In fact, a lot of this is based on rumors, but hey, it's starting to look more and more likely that it'll happen. Turns out the real reason why Cruise might actually go through with it is because he was in talks to play the character once before too. Yep, that's right. Back in the day, when the original Iron Man movie was in the works, Tom was on Marvel's radar to play the iconic Tony Stark. But it just wasn't meant to be. I mean, not to complain, since RDJ's kind of a legendary actor in his own right. But fans have always wondered what it would have been like if we got Tom instead. At the time, it was Cruise who declined the part. The star felt that the part wasn't right for him. Plus, it could have been easy to commit to the MCU, knowing that the next decade of your life is going to more or less be spent on working for only one franchise. And that's not all. He wanted to be able to make decisions and bring out the absolute best in the film. And with the MCU, that's not always possible. You've got to go ahead with what the writers and Kevin Feige have come up with, which to a creative person like Tom was totally a deal breaker. But hey, that's not the end of the story. Because now, let's fast forward to the rumors about Doctor Strange's sequel. At the time, Cruise's name was swirling around like a tornado. Fans were crossing dimensions, hoping to see Tom make an appearance as an Iron Man variant in the multiverse. People even created their own renditions of what Tom could look like, just to get a taste of what could have been. Now, Tom has always been outspoken about how much he loves RDJ's portrayal of the iconic superhero. But that doesn't mean he can't show up for a scene or two and try out the suit for himself, right? Sadly, Tom didn't appear in the Doctor Strange sequel, but I can't but feel like there's still a ton of opportunities for the star to make his first appearance in the MCU. Let's not forget that the MCU is still very much in its multiverse saga. And what would be the point of doing a multiverse storyline if you don't give fans some exciting cameos kind of like this one? Though if they haven't done it yet, it might be because they're saving it up for a really special movie. Possibly even Avengers, Secret Wars. I'm sure Feige and Marvel Studios will want to pull a rabbit out of their hats and bring in the Hollywood powerhouse for some superhero magic to really make the movie stand out. Because let's be honest, the MCU could use the help. There's no denying the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been an absolute powerhouse of a franchise for a long time. For a long time, it felt like Kevin was a straight-up wizard because it was impossible to think how he was handling so many projects at the same time and nailing each and every one. But let's be real, those times are long gone. Lately, it seems like the MCU has been going through a bit of a rough patch. Don't get me wrong, they've had their fair share of successes too, but the sheer excitement and hype that fans once had for these films is starting to dwindle a bit. Whether it's superhero fatigue or the fact that the quality is simply not there anymore, it's clear that they need to make some big changes to get fans back on board. And it doesn't help that after the underwhelming fourth phase, Phase 5 didn't exactly kick off in the best way either. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, well, it didn't quite soar to the heights fans expected. In fact, it became one of the worst performing movies in the franchise. Plus, it got tangled up in the whole Jonathan Majors saga, with the actor facing some serious legal issues. So with all this going on, Marvel Studios and Disney don't seem to be carrying the same box office weight they used to. Now, what exactly can be done to help out in this situation? Enter the possibility of Tom Cruise donning the Iron Man suit. Can you imagine the level of excitement if that happens? The man is an action legend, and he'd be the perfect fit for the MCU. And before you doubt Tom having the ability to get folks interested again, let me remind you just how big of a star he really is. For one, Mission Impossible is a box office beast. It's one of the highest-grossing franchises ever, raking in more than $3.5 billion. And with the latest film expected to do amazingly well, it's clear that number is only going to go higher and higher. And while there's no doubt that the directors and scriptwriters have played a part in the franchise's success, there's no denying that Tom's the one who's carrying much of it on his back. His willingness to go above and beyond as far as the stunts are concerned is what gets the fans to keep coming back. Like, did you know he straight up destroyed 6 motorcycles while shooting the new Mission Impossible? Or the fact that he got the crew to shoot a potentially life-threatening stunt on the very first day. Because in case he ended up dying, He didn't want them to waste time and energy making a movie that wasn't gonna come out. Now that's some serious dedication, and it's the kind of energy we desperately need from the MCU. Right now it feels as if most of the MCU stars are simply there to collect a paycheck. And really, the level of energy and excitement that the previous cast and crew evoked from fans is all but gone. And so having someone like Cruise step up and take the lead could help out a ton. For one, it'd add some more practical effects to the franchise, which I think we all know are sorely needed. Especially with how some of the recent films have felt like a total CGI mess, going back to practical stunts could help the MCU not only make their new releases feel exciting, but also take the load off of the struggling VFX artists that have been worked to the bone recently. There's also the fact that having a dynamic person like Cruise be the main person to look up to in the MCU can help in keeping fans positive about the franchise. There was a time when Chris Evans or RDJ were the first people that came to mind when people thought of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But nowadays, there's so many characters that are split across multiple projects that it's hard to even think of the one defining person that's in the focus. That might be by design, but it gives off the feeling that the entire cinematic universe is too fragmented. Let's not forget that the MCU is going to have some stiff competition in the coming years, with James Gunn leading his own DCU. It's clear that they don't have a lot of time to waste anymore, and if they don't get their act together soon, it's possible that their long reign at the box office might just come to an end finally. Plus, there's one other reason why Tom Cruise really makes sense for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is because the fans are totally on board with the idea already. I already talked about the rumors about him joining the MCU that were swirling back when the Doctor Strange sequel was set to come out. Well, the reason why they even got so much traction in the first place was because the fans wanted it to happen. One eager fan even created a deep fake version of how it'd look like, and well, fans were blown away at how good it was. In fact, the excitement around this whole thing has gotten so big that Tom was even asked about it in a recent interview. And like most actors, he didn't give a simple answer. The star said that before he joins a movie, he needs to see the story, the character, and if it appeals to him, he doesn't rule anything out.
Not close. Okay. Not close. You know, and I love Robert Downey, and I can't imagine anyone.
But those things have got to hit the mark if the star's going to sign up for a gig. And that's not all. Tom's got to feel like he can learn and contribute to the project well enough. Otherwise, he's going to be a no-show. So if Marvel really wants the star to join the MCU, they better start getting their pens moving. Because it's going to take a really good script to get him to join if he hasn't already. So from him being asked in an interview if he'd ever reconsider the role, to the star once being considered for the role of Iron Man, that was why Tom Cruise might be in talks at Marvel.